Hi everyone, in this video let's talk about variables. So if you remember from one of the previous video, I have written an algorithm for adding three numbers. So there I have written a line something like this, input n1. So this n1 acts like a container which can store some data. So similar to this container, in our programming language we have something called variable. So technically a variable is a memory location. So what is memory location? So the other name of memory location is also your memory address. So these memory locations in our primary memory are capable of storing some data. So these memory locations are having some name and a data type. So in C++ programming language and many other languages, we need to mention the variable name and then we need to mention its data type. That means the data type determines that what set of values this particular integer can store. So in order to terminate this statement, we need to provide semicolon, because semicolon acts as a statement terminator. Now this is called your variable definition. So let's take an example. So if you remember the algo of adding three numbers, I have taken a container n1, right? And this n1 is capable of storing a number. Now since it will store integer numbers, so I need to mention its data type. So I'll write here int. So this keyword int says that this particular variable can store only integers, which includes your set of all positive, negative numbers along with 0, right? Now this line is called your variable definition. Now if you say that what will be the initial value of this n1, so since the value is unknown, that's why we say this variable will contain as of now as a garbage. So we call when a variable is defined and we are not sure that what value is stored in this. So initial value of a variable that is defined in C++ contains garbage. Now the next thing is that how can we store a number in this? So I can write here, let's say n1 4. So if I simply write this statement, what do you think? This number 4 will get stored in n1, yes or no? The answer is no. Why? Because this is not the correct syntax for storing the data in a variable. We need to use an operator called assignment operator. So this assignment operator will take this value from right side and store the value in the variable. And this kind of statement is called your assignment statement. So since this is also a valid statement in C++, again this will terminate with a semicolon. That is your statement terminator, right? So if you see this line, this is called your assignment statement, right? So this one is called your assignment statement. Now if you observe this line, this is your variable definition. Now during the definition of the variable, if you assign a value, then this is called your initialization statement. So this is called your initialization statement. Now the question is, what is the difference between these two things? Now if you observe here we are not redeclaring the variable, but if during the definition of the variable, if you assign a value right after the definition, then this kind of statement is called your initialization statement. And if you observe this, if you change the value of this variable later on, then this kind of statement is called your assignment statement. So I hope that you understand the difference between initialization statement and assignment statement, right? So a variable is just a name for the memory location. So from the previous video, if you remember, I told you that our RAM is divided into many number of bytes and each byte is capable of storing some data, right? So similarly, this n1 is just the name for a particular byte. Now the question is, how many bytes are required to store this number 2? So this is determined by our data type. So in our future videos, we'll be talking about data types in more detail. So for now, you just focus on that how can we declare a variable and how can we use that variable, right? Now let us write a program which will add two numbers, right? So before that, let's see. Okay, let's write the code first of all. So in order to add two numbers, we need two variables, right? One for taking the first number as input, second for the second number, right? and then we need to store this and we need to add these two numbers and store in third variable, that is sum. Now I can define my variables like this, int n1. So then we can define the variable n2 in the same way, int sum. So I want to take the value from user. So if you write like this, n1 equals to 12, then this value is hard coded value, right? User cannot enter any value in this n1. And since variable is capable of storing any number, any valid number, so we will try to take input from the user. So let us give a message first of all, enter the first number, right? And I need to use here standard namespace. Actually this cout is present in standard namespace, that's why I need to use this standard with the scope resolution operator. Then next, now how to take input from the user. So in order to take input, I'll be using something called, there is a object for taking input that is called cin, console in. So if you see, the direction is inside, that means the value of the data will be stored in the main memory, right? From the keyboard it will go to your memory. So I want to read the input data from the variable n1. So this line will stop the execution of the program and wait for the user to enter a value. So the moment the user will enter a value and hit enter, so the value will get stored in the variable n1. In the same way we can write the next two lines, right, for the variable n2. So we can write here, enter the second number. So this will store the, so I will write here n2, this will store the second number. It will take the input for the second number from the user. Now we need to perform the sum. So n1 plus n2. So this is a operator for adding two or more numbers, right? And after the addition is performed, we need to store this in the variable called sum. So sum equals to n1 plus n2. Now if you see these three lines, we are not sure about that what type of values initially these variables will have. So it is better to initialize these variables with 0, because we are not sure about that what kind of values it will store. Even if you do not store 0, it will not affect your program, but it is a better practice to initialize the variables with 0. So this line will perform the addition of two numbers, and finally I'll print out the sum. So I can write here cout sum equals to, now in order to print this sum variable, I will again use this insertion operator, and after that I'll just write the variable name. So most of the beginners, what they do, they write the variable names also under double quotes. Don't do this, because whatever you print under, whatever you are writing under the double quotes, that will get printed on the screen as it is. But if you want to print the content of a variable, then you just need to provide the variable name. So here the variable name is sum. So after the sum is printed on the screen, I want to print a new line, that is standard endl. So if you see here, this cout, we need to provide standard namespace again, and finally return 0. So this statement acts like a exit statement. So main is the starting point of a program, and this return is the exit point of this function main, right? So let us save the file and let's execute it. So before execution, we need to compile this code, right? So I'll go to my particular folder where I've stored this, then cpp, and then I'll see here which file. Okay, so I have saved this program in the file named variables.cpp. So I'll compile this code. So G++ is the C++ compiler. Then I need to provide the file name and hit enter. So let's see. Okay, so since we do not have any error in our program, so it compiled successfully. So if you observe here again, so let's run the code ./a.out. Let's print, let's hit enter. Okay, so if you see, it is asking for the first number. Now if you see here, it is waiting for the user to enter a number. So let's enter 5 and hit enter. Then it is asking for the second number and it is waiting for us for our input, right? So let's enter 7 and hit enter. So if you see, these two numbers are stored inside these two variables, that is your n1 and n2, and after that these two numbers are added and then assigned to sum. So if you see, this sum equals to get printed as it is, and after that the value of this sum gets printed on the screen. Now most of the beginners, what they do, they put the variable name also under the double quotes. Now if you do this and recompile, so if you can see very clearly, I will enter any number here. So it prints here sum equals to sum. That means whatever you write under the double quotes, it will just print exactly as it is. But if you want to print the content of a variable, you just need to provide the variable name, that is sum. So please keep this in mind. Most of the beginners are doing this mistake, and they also miss the semicolon. If you are new to language, if you are new to programming, then these are some of the mistakes that will happen to you, right? So please try to avoid these mistakes by practicing more and more programs. So similar to addition, we can subtract two numbers by this symbol minus. So let us recompile it again. So as I told you in the previous video that the moment you make any change in your program, you need to recompile it again and again, right? So if I run it again, so I'll enter a number, let's say 34, and second number, let's say 2. So 34 minus 2 is 32, right? So this is not sum actually, this is difference of two numbers, right? These are difference. Now if you enter a number 45 and 2, it says that difference equal to 43, right? Similarly for multiplying, you can use asterisk symbol, and for division you can use this slash symbol, right? So this was a simple program in order to add, subtract, means to perform various arithmetic operations on two numbers. So I just wanted to give you the concept of variable, how can we declare it and how can we use it, so, and how to print out. Now if you observe here one thing, we need to use this std : all the time, and it is very tiring to write again and again. So in order to avoid this, we can use here a line, something called using namespace std. Actually using this line is not a good practice, but for small programs we can write this. So this is having some kind of problems that I will discuss in some future video, but if you want to avoid writing this std : everywhere, so you can just mention this line using namespace standard. So let us remove this line, this particular std : from all the statements, and let's see what happens. So if you observe, so okay, something went wrong. Let me erase this and I will recompile it and run it again. So I have removed the std : from all of the statements. Let us save it and let me recompile it. So g++ variables.cpp. So alright, so it is showing some kind of errors. Okay, so I need to provide here using namespace std. You are not supposed to erase this line, right? So let me save it and run it again. So let me recompile it. So you can see that our program got compiled successfully. That means these objects that you are using, cout, cin, endl, these are all imported by this using namespace std statement, right? So now if you just run your program again, this will run successfully. So it is your ./a.out. So I can enter any number, let's say 12. So it is giving 10 because I have divided 123 by 10. Now the question is, if I divide 123 by 10, 123 by 12, so 12 into 10 times gives you 120. Then why the answer is 10? Why the answer is not 10 point something? Because it only stores the integral value. That's why you are seeing the integral value here, right? So you can use another statement also, like using std : cout. So once you write the statement, for cout you don't have to write std : all the time. In the same way for cin also. So cin is again an object which is capable of taking input from the user, right? And this is also present inside this header file IO stream, input output stream. Now if you see the third statement, that is your endl is also present inside the standard namespace. So if you use these three lines also, your program will work fine. So let me save it and recompile it again. So this time let's say I want to multiply two numbers, right? So let me change this sign by this asterisk sign. So asterisk sign is used for multiplying two numbers. So now if I recompile my program and run it again, so I will enter the first number, let's say 3, and second number 5, 3 into 5, 15. So you can see that these two numbers are multiplied, and if you see, these three lines are just saving my time to write this std : in all the objects, right? So in this video I just made you clear about that how can we write algo. In the previous video we have written, and that algo we converted into a program. So for that it was necessary to define variables. So now you are very much familiar with how can we define variables. We need to mention the data type, then variable name, and how to declare it, how to define it, how to initialize it, and so on. Now in this video I demonstrated you almost everything. So if you see any variable that is stored in your main memory, every variable is going to have some address. So it will have a memory address. Now this memory address are assigned by your compiler and the operating system. That means at which particular location your variable will be stored is decided by your compiler and the operating system, right? So this, the data type of the variable, the name of the variable, and this address, this is mentioned, or this is maintained in a data structure called symbol table. So symbol table is a data structure where your all the details of each and every variable that is used in a program is maintained. So in symbol table there are various entries of all the variables with the information of the variable's address and its data type and the value and some other information. So symbol table is a data structure which stores this kind of information by which your compiler can take necessary information in order to compile your program. So in this video I'll keep the discussion till this much. In the next video we will start the next module, that is your constants, right? So thank you for watching.